Hey folks, I recorded a video and then I messed it up, folks. So I'm going to record it again. It's not going to be as good as the first one. But it is what it is. I should have paid more attention. I'm trying to do too many things at once. So, the coleslaw recipe. I haven't forgotten you. I've been waiting on this lady, right? Well, she said she couldn't find it. She thought she could put her hands right on it, but then she remembered giving that recipe for her mother or mother-in-law to use, and her mother or mother-in-law is not doing very well. So she doesn't want to go over there and rummage through her things. So this morning, over coffee, I got online and I found the exact same coleslaw canning recipe. So I'm going to put that link underneath this video. Now you're gonna have to pay attention, okay? Because I didn't read all the way down through the instructions. What I saw was that it was water bath, and I went down through all the ingredients and the measurements, and they look pretty good. They look spot on. So when you have chopped up your cabbage and everything else that you're going to put in that coleslaw, you're going to take a chopstick or whatever you use to get the bubbles out. Now, cabbage, you know when water gets on cabbage, it kind of beads up, right? Well, when you put raw cabbage in a jar, it's going to hold those little water bubbles. Only they're not going to be water bubbles. They're going to be air bubbles. Now, you're going to have to be patient because it takes a little bit to work that cabbage around there so you can get those water bubbles out, okay? That's the hardest part of the recipe. I'm just going to tell you right now. So I don't know if that's mentioned in that recipe in the reading or not, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it to you because it is a little bit of a tedious process, all right? Now, I also want to remind you that if you are going to use an oak leaf, to put the one oak leaf on the bottom, and if you've got an oak leaf that's a mature oak leaf, just cut it into quarters or thirds or whatever, but put one on the bottom, and then put one up toward the top, but make sure that you've got some coleslaw on top of that, because what will happen is, while it's water bathing, that leaf sometimes will get up underneath that lid, okay? So you're going to have to anchor it down somehow, tuck it down inside the jar, okay? So just be mindful of that, but I've had real good success with a small oak leaf, a baby oak leaf on the bottom, and a baby oak leaf on top, okay? So you can look forward to that link down below, and I apologize, but some things are just out of my control, right? So along that same line is, if you have not heard of marinated salad, and it's the same principle. You take the end of the garden produce. I really like cucumbers. You can slice up cucumbers. I do mine about a ½ inch thick. Sorry, I had company. For living in the woods, I sure get enough company, let me tell you. So, the marinated salad, it's really, really good, folks. Yeah, I take my cucumbers and slice them up a little bit thicker than a thick pickle. And so, really, mine are like a third to a ½ inch thick. And I take cherry tomatoes and I cut them in half. Keep the tomato skin on, okay? And then I take onion and slice them up so they're like rings. Just separate them and throw them in there. Garlic. Let's see what else I use in there. I use garlic, and sometimes I put red pepper flakes in mine. All right, and then you're going to water bath that. And if you put an oak leaf in there, that's going to keep those vegetables crisp for a little bit longer on the shelf, okay? you're going to seal them, right? If you use, what is it, Sure Crisp or Crisp Sure or something in there, it'll probably last as long as the oak leaf. But if you don't use either one of those, folks, or you don't use a crisper of any kind, the vegetables are going to remain firm for about 6 months on the shelf. Okay, so just understand that that's what's going to happen if you don't use a crisper in there. Then there's nothing like opening up a jar of marinated salad here in Maine in January, February that you canned up in September or maybe even October. It's going to taste just as fresh, just like it was just put in the jar. Alright, so I am going to put that link underneath this one as well. So there'll be a coleslaw link and there will be a marinated salad link. So you can look for those two there. And both of them are really good, folks. They're really good. Just remember that cabbage is a little tedious in the coleslaw.